let's start. Awesome. Okay, Tobias, look, the first question is this. Tell me or explain, please, what are mocks?
Mocks. So I will say mocks are any kind of information that it pretends to, I was gonna use the same word, but it pretends to mimic what a
Mimic,
real information will look like, or be.
right? Right. So what would be the purpose of creating I mean, what would you want to create a mock? I mean, for doing what?
Okay, so there are, I believe, multiple purposes. One of them, or the most common, is when you're developing an application and sometimes your backend isn't ready
Uh-huh.
and the front end, starts first at the backend. So in this case, you will want to use mocks to work as close
Right.
as possible to the
Right.
real information that the backend
And,
is going to
and
return.
and what in what other, I mean, that's right, but in what other case?
Sometimes you can use mocks to mimic functionality also. Let's say, for instance, in the unit test, you can
The
mock
unit
some
test,
functions. Yeah.
right? Or unit test, right? And but I want to ask you again, um, in what kind of test? I mean, you mentioned unit test, that's right. But for example, if I mention end-to-end test, do you don't use mocks there, or you do?
Okay, so end-to-end tests, they are usually perform over a real application,
Right,
you know. So there's won't be like
right,
too many use of mocks on this.
right. Good, good, good. Okay. The next question is, tell me some concepts. I mean, yeah, describe these two concepts, programming paradigms concepts, imperative and declarative.
Okay. Well, I would say that imperative, like, it includes instruction in specific instructions on how to do the things,
Uh-huh.
and versus declarative will be more like how you want them to
Right,
look like or how you want it to do.
right,
And an example could be writing, I don't know, some elements to the DOM with
right,
the native JS, with the vanilla JavaScript will be very imperative, but for instance, using React is more
right,
declarative, and also declarative programming in
right.
React is.
Good. If we mention functional programming, is this imperative or declarative?
I would say it's more declarative side of
Right,
things. I don't
right,
know what reason is that you really have to prepare a lot of functions to do what you were expecting the behavior to do, but not, like I said,
right.
you prepare those functions, but not explicitly say what you want to
Awesome.
do.
Awesome. Look, and the next question is about SEO. What technologies or what tools in the React context would you use to make an application or a website SEO friendly?
Um,
Or yeah, what steps would you, yeah, would you do to accomplish SEO in a website?
okay. Just to make sure, CEO is more like it has to do with the, let's say, um the good, not good code, but good practices in order
Mhm.
to decide to be, searchable and findable and all of that stuff. Is that
All
what
right.
you? All right.
Yeah, kinda,
So
kinda.
yeah, in this case, I believe that one of the things that you have to do is like some HTML structures and tags are really important, like um like the like the titles, like the headings, like the
Right,
all that kind of HTML has to be right in the, in a in a really good practice and making use
Mhm.
of the best practices to be able to develop a good CEO for the site.
Right,
But as a tool, I don't have too much experience using a tool specifically for CEO.
right. Good, good. Okay, let's keep going. Look, tell me one use case for using a class component today in React.
When use case to use a class component, um, even if the new versions, like if you're using a newer version of React,
Yeah,
mm, well, I would say probably you want to make use of a specific lifecycle component,
right.
or you wanna, mm, I don't know, really all the functionality you can get it from the functional components. So apart from the lifecycle hooks, but yeah, I don't see like I don't have too much in my mind to describe in what situations
Okay,
I will use a
good,
class component.
good, good. Uh, I'll put, so this is how to say this? This is pseudocode. I mean, forget about React for a moment. I mean, this is not React question, okay? Just keep that in mind. It's not JavaScript either. I mean, this is a programming concept,
Okay.
software programming concept. Here we have this pure function. This function takes two arguments. With those arguments, this function performs some heavy computations or expensive calculations, then
Yeah.
returns a value. This function is being called many times, which is causing a big performance issue. The question for you is, how can we optimize this function's performance?
Okay. I guess I guess one of the things that you could do it will be to not do the expensive calculation if the values has not changed.
Uh-huh.
Because it's a pure function for the same arguments, it should always return the same value. So you could start there to comparing latest values against the new arguments. And another another technique will be doing some safety checks for certain conditions. I mean, if the string A is not coming, um, you're going to return Italy, right? To not do some expensive calculation that might
Right.
have you more time. Um, um,
Well, let's step back on one second. You
yep.
said do not perform the expensive calculations if the arguments are, I mean, if the arguments doesn't change. How would you do that? I mean, that's yeah. How would you do it? I mean,
Um,
yeah, what concept would you apply for that?
what concept? Um, in order to store, like you said, to store all values or something like that, or
Yeah, or how would you do it? Yeah, you
uh,
mentioned
was
I mean, it makes sense what you said, but just tell me like yeah, I want you to be more detailed on that.
okay, okay. Um, well, kind of. I You can try to catch the
Cache, yeah,
function.
that's the word.
Oh,
That's
yeah, you can try to
that's
catch
the
the
word. Yeah, yeah, that was the word I was looking for. Right.
Okay.
Good. Perfect. Yeah, let's continue with the next question. Awesome. I'll put another piece of code here. Look, this is JavaScript again. If we run it, it will print start, finish, and timeout. That's wrong. The correct order, the correct order is start, timeout in the middle, and then finish at the end. The idea here is that you fix the order by promisifying the entire functionality.
The entire functionality of the main, or like start finished. Okay. So you want me to modify this code in order to print the correct order, like you said?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So I guess we can make use of a promise. Let's say if we, instead of returning the set timeout, we can still using the set timeout, but we should be able to return a promise. That will have I don't know. What is the other concept to, instead of accept, I don't resolve, right? Resolve.
Resolve. It's resolve. Yeah.
All right. So
You should put this in parentheses.
Oh, sorry. Like that. And then inside of your timeout, you can resolve your console log. And
I mean, that's right, but there is a small error there. I mean, you have to resolve it, right? But once you resolve here something, you have to capture it, right? So, I mean, when you resolve something here, you have to capture when you are awaiting that promise, right?
Okay.
So, right.
So, okay, I can possibly return just the string.
It could be, or you can resolve it in a different moment. I mean, you got it. I mean, you almost got it. You can return, I mean, you can resolve the string. That could be one possibility, but you have to console log it. I mean, you have to log it.
Yeah, okay. So could make use of a callback.
Not a callback.
Not a callback. Okay.
No. I mean, this is right. I mean, this is right. But there is a small error. I mean, let me tell you this. How would you do it in a different way? I mean, you have to resolve it in a different moment. Just log it and resolve it. That's it.
Okay, I have to resolve it in a different moment. So if I return, I can shoot. I'm kind of lost, to be honest.
Okay, that's okay. No, I mean, you got it. You got it. It's just this. You can, what I mean is you can resolve it in a different order. So you can just print it and resolve it, and that's it.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
right.
it doesn't matter where. Yeah.
Right, but yeah, this is also cool, I guess. Yeah. Good. Okay, let's keep going. Cool. Oh, God. Let me look. This one, the idea is that you read the code here, and tell me what are these console logs printing and explain the reason why.
Okay. So we have an object that it has an object inside. We have a property contact that it's itself an object and has the email property with the all email string. So we have another object that it's pretty much doing a duplication of the values, and we have the new object that we're modifying the new object dot contact dot email to specify a new value for email. And what are the logs and why? Okay, so console log and the old value, old object dot contact dot email, it should print old email. And the new object, it should print new email. And the reason is because you are creating a new different object and the reference is lost. I mean, you're doing
Right,
a clear copy. And so if you modify the new object, it should not modify the old object.
right, right. Good. I'll put another piece of code. Just give me 1 second. Look, this is simple. We have this person class, right? And in here, we're trying to instantiate that object. Just tell me what is missing inside the class in order to be able to instantiate this object correctly.
Oh, I think that you're missing your constructor function
Right,
to be able to
right.
that class.
That's right. That's right. Okay, tell me, please, some different ways to improve performance of your React application.
Different ways. Well, one of them will be obviously you have to have some performance issues. But once you identify those issues, you can make use of different techniques. Let's say your page is loading really slow. You can use dynamic imports with lazy loading to implement just to be more efficient. And another ways to do that, I mean, to increase the performance is if you have a performance issue, sometimes it is because a component is taking too much to render. And you can use different techniques like memoize your component or your values will use memo or your function will use callback.
Right,
Yeah, yeah,
right.
those are
Yeah,
some techniques.
yeah. That's enough. Good. Good, good. Okay, and the next question is just explain these React patterns. HOC, render prop, and custom hook.
Okay. So a hawk will be it stands for high order component. So it's very used in older versions of React, even newer, but I was even like an example could be, I mean, it's basically a function that takes a component and returns another component with some extra properties. I mean, like extra state values or methods that you could use. So I don't know, an example will be when you use the connect of the Redux, the connect function,
Right,
you pass the component and it going to return a component ready to
right,
work with your state and everything. So that will be hog render prop. It is pretty much a function that you pass as a prop, and that function pretty much pretty much specify how you want to render your information.
Mhm.
So if you pass a function, let's say it takes an ID,
Right.
and you're iterating over you have a component. I have seen this on components like some UI libraries, like you have a list and you're going to render a list of items. You pass a render prop, and inside that component itself is going to call to your method, your render prop, and it's going to return you your values. But you
Right.
can define how you want to look the UI in the parent component, so to
You
speak.
got it. Right.
And custom hook, so it's pretty much a function. It's really helpful to use. It's really helpful to um, kind of do some or separate some code that you might want to reuse, or you
Right.
might want to not take too much. I mean, there's sometimes some logic that it needs to be isolated from your component because it
Right.
causes some issues. Like,
That's
I don't
right.
know, you're trying to render use a hook in a if
Good.
condition or something like that. That could help you
Good.
with it.
Perfect. Okay. Look, how do I pass variable values via URL? For example, we have this URL, url.com. How would you pass variable values to it?
Um, well, you could use URL params. That's
URL
one way.
params.
That's one way. I mean, uh, you can use any web API like
Uh,
uh,
how would you, for example, in the first one, how would you, I mean, if you use URL params, how would you pass variables to it? Could you please show me, with this URL example?
yeah, I guess there is a way to construct a URL. Um, and if you have seen, sometimes they have like this um something like this,
Right,
but there is a
right,
function, native functions in JavaScript, like to
right,
create this kind of chain.
right.
Uh,
But yeah, it's just the concept.
okay.
Okay, good. All right, what else? We have more questions. Look, this is a form in React. The idea is that you add a password input to this form and then allow submission when the password is at least 8 characters long. Okay, that's all you have to do here.
Okay. Um, okay. So I'm going to create another input. Sorry. I believe, and there's a way to execute it.
No, there's no way.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Um, I think there is a type password. Is that
Yeah, there
correct?
is. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So I guess we can. I mean, we have to count the characters of that input. So we can make use of
Mhm.
stay hook. It's not going to add it automatically now.
It doesn't have that.
Or we could have password and set password. And you obviously need to import.
Just skip it.
Import. Okay.
Yeah.
Then when it changes, sorry, whoops, change. Right here, I'm gonna use set password with the target value. That should set the password, and I guess here button only allows submission if I was late. Okay, you can pretty much say
All right.
this table, and if password is password that is password uh less than 8.
Right.
Um,
Right. That's correct. Good.
disable.
The only
Yeah.
thing is that you have to capture the even here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but yeah, it's on a small detail. No worries. Good. Let me remove this and let's keep going. Good. We are about to finish. No worries. Tell me, please, why was the arrow function introduced into JavaScript?
Why what is introduced?
Yeah.
I honestly don't know if he had a specific purpose, but I just know that many people prefer because the syntax is really simple.
Right.
And that actually doesn't have um like I mean opposed to some normal functions, it doesn't have a specific this context attached to it.
Mhm. Right.
Um,
Right.
yeah, I really don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a good idea. I mean, it's about the context and the this. That's like the main reason,
Mm,
basically, and the syntax as well.
yep.
Good. Good. Just have a couple of questions. Look, let me put it here. This is a form, not a form. This is a JavaScript functions. Uh, this function takes a set of users, an array, which is an array of users. Each user is an object, as you can see here. Each object has name, is active, and has cat as properties. Well, the idea is that you implement this function to return active users with cats. I mean, just active users that has cats, okay?
And you want to return the object itself,
An array of objects,
an array of
as here.
objects, a filter
Yeah,
array.
yes, as
Okay.
here. Look,
Okay.
we just
Got it.
pass this to, and it returns an array with just the object that meets the condition.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Um, and this is how the use cases, right? I mean the test
Right,
cases.
that's right.
So I guess I will start with the first case. You obviously want to return an empty array if users don't have left, just return an array, empty array. Um, yeah. So second is you're passing just one. So I guess for two next, the other two cases, we can implement um, a function to return. It's pretty much can filter this array. So users dot filter.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get each user, and if user has cat,
Right.
it should return your users with a cat, I believe.
Remember, I mean, it has cat, but is active as well. I mean, those two,
Oh,
those two,
oh, sorry, yeah.
those two
Active user
conditions.
with okay, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can. It's pretty much it's like has cat active any. If he has cat. Oh, where is my ampersand? Yeah. It's active.
Right. That's pretty much okay. It's good. Yeah. Having said this, you don't need this. I mean, because if this is empty, it will return empty.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
so you don't need it. Awesome. So oops, let me remove it. I think we have just one question left. Is this question? You don't have to type any code here. This is simple. Here we have this function, and tell me, please, what type or what kind of argument is this function taking? But also tell me or explain these syntaxes we have here. For example, explain this equal sign or this assignment, and also explain these triple dots.
Got it. So this create new user. It's destructuring what it's receiving as arguments, and it is extracting the variable name, and if it's undefined, it is using a default parameter that
Right,
will default to some name. Is active is another property that it's structuring, and I guess it will be like a boolean, and you know it's just going to inside of your function you're going to be able to use is active
right,
property to check any values, and the rest of the parameters are pretty much it's using your spread operator to gather all the rest of the parameters that you could receive in that property that's called rest.
right. That's right. And we have one more question. So let's suppose we have a functional component in React. It's a functional, remember. And we need to call another function when the component unmounts. The question is, where would you put the function call?
When the component unmounts,
Yes.
I guess you could use the use effect, and you in the return
Right,
you can so use effect has this return can return a function, and it's going to be
right,
executed when the component is destroyed. So
right,
inside that body of the function you can, I don't know, make a call to disconnect from any server or
right.
something like that.
Can you please write the use just the use effect?
Oh, okay, so something like this that takes your function
Mm-hmm.
and you can return something like
Right.
this.
That's right. Awesome. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen. That's perfect. And let me stop